Okay.
Oh
Like,
boy,
do you
dude. Pablo,
understand?
my boy Pablo Torre's on some kind of rampage about this, huh?
So you went to Regis, as did
Uh-huh.
Pablo Torre,
Yeah.
two esteemed journalists, one a little more notable than the other. Um, Pablo has got his teeth in this story and is not letting go. What do you make of that as a journalist and also a Regis dude?
I don't know, man. I mean, I definitely commend Pablo because it's for sure weird. I think a lot of people want to know what's going on between those two. I think he has a journalist instinct that something is afoot, if you will. Maybe some sort of malfeasance or some sort of money being exchanged in the wrong place might be something. Um, and I just, what at this point, let's see it through.
Is Pablo, so is he after clicks or is he after the truth?
Pablo, I don't know, dude. I mean, I would hope the truth. That would make me feel the best in my heart of hearts, but I don't know. I'm certainly seeing a lot more Pablo Torre than I have in the past couple of years, though, that's for sure. And I like
You're
Pablo's a good dude.
Yeah, I was about to say you're never one to bite your tongue, even if you're talking about a fellow Regis alum. Like, what was your feeling about Pablo Torre prior to this?
I thought Pablo did a damn good job at like in-depth journalism. He
Yeah,
came to speak to my class when I was in high school. Good dude, lots of good
yeah.
advice. Shared a couple of like of his good stories with us. He did a really nice piece for SI. Like that's what got him kind of famous, if you will. About like why athletes go broke, and I thought that was super insightful. And I always thought that like, Regis guys usually have a little depth to them. So like, but I haven't seen him or heard from him in a really long time. So and I don't mean like he didn't hit my line. I just mean like I haven't seen him on ESPN or because he's not with ESPN anymore, and I haven't seen anything with him. So this is the first time I've seen him in a couple of years.
I get a feeling that North Carolina kind of messed with the wrong guy when they pushed back and said that she wasn't banned and
Dude,
he had.
the FOIA request though, how about that for some big J journalism?
There you go, dude. And we know, you and I know this, you better than me, but just being in a newsroom, when somebody talks about a FOIA request, we're like, oh, what a pain in the ass. We're not going to get it for who knows how long. And everybody's going to try to stop us from doing it, but it's part of the job. If you want to get to the bottom of shit, you really have to try to
Dude, you
take
got
full
to.
advantage of what's public.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess they're a public institution, or
Yeah.
else they wouldn't be legally required to give him that. For people who don't know what that is, a FOIA is a Freedom of Information Act request, and that's what journalists file to get documents that otherwise wouldn't be shared with the public.
What do you
But
think is going to be the end game of this Bill Belichick thing? Because
dude,
by the
I
way, June
don't
1st
know.
he can pay $1 million and get out of North Carolina if he feels like he's
No,
not
can't
getting.
they pay him $1 million and
No,
get rid of him?
no, he would pay $1 million to be out of there because that's a clause he had in his contract. Initially, it was thought that that would be for him to quite possibly seek an NFL job, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
now
yeah.
it's kind of the reverse. It's
Yeah,
like
right. Oh,
he
yeah,
may
yeah.
yeah, he may do that just to get out of there because he doesn't like maybe the lack of control he has now with the Jordon Hudson thing kind of being pushed back a little bit on him. But what do you think the end game will be?
What do I think is ultimately going to happen? We're going to come to a point, be it June 1st in 3 days, or some point in the middle of the year where they're gonna have to come to the like either she's out or you're out. And I think that at some point that will happen. When? I don't know, but I think there's too much paint on the walls.
If you were going after this story, like, I joke around, but you won an Emmy. I mean, that's very, very high praise. Would you be digging like this, like Pablo is, even if it was a story like this that seemed like sort of sensational? How would you
I
feel
don't know
about it
if it
internally?
piqued my interest enough, yeah, why not? And if then see, but then it's like, well, then if you're lying to me, then there's more, then something's going on, and I'm going to try to find out the truth. And I
Yeah.
think maybe that's kind of how this whole thing started. Pablo started poking around, asking questions, feeling like maybe he wasn't being told the whole truth, and it's like, okay, now it's time for me to put my hat on and see what actually is going on. Is she
Yeah.
on the payroll? Um, I don't have no idea.
Or do you think that this is a story like I guess you're right. It is sort of like it's sort of like a big money could be like, if they're lying and they're smoke and mirrors. Like as a journalist, you want to find out what this is.
I think every story is worth sniffing out. and Pablo is clearly not done sniffing it all the way out.